Yeah, no, this isn't typically what I talk about on this show, but I stayed up very late to go see this, so I'm going to talk about it. Alright, hi everyone from San Diego Comic-Con. I am here. I just got out of the shower. It is past midnight. I am tired. I just want to talk to you today because the reason I am tired in particular, outside of walking all over the place for the first time in like 3 years and forgetting how brutal and not as brutal as I remembered the walk around the San Diego area is. I'm wearing masks. I'm doing my best to stay safe. Thankfully, most people in the convention center itself are staying safe, and most of them are wearing masks and following along with guidelines. Outside, not so much, but but anyway, so tonight they had the premiere of the first 2 episodes of Harley Quinn Season 3, which comes out next week, and it's currently my favorite DC show, so I figured, I might as well talk about it on camera. I had to sit through a boring panel and, quite frankly, a pretty terrible panel to get to it because I got there a little too early. I thought it was going to be much harder to get in than it was. But anyway, I digress. So, yeah, Harley Quinn Season 3, Episode 1 and 2. I've been a big fan of the series since its inception. Far from perfect, but at the same time, like, it's just a refreshingly fun take on the Batman lore and the Batman characters, and it's just having so much fun and, like, fun with it for the first 2 seasons, and this was a show that was intended to only be 2 seasons, and then it got renewed for a 3rd season after it became super successful. So the first episode definitely feels kind of like it's a prolonged epilogue that's trying to find the plot. Now, to be clear, both episodes are pretty good. But I do think that's something worth pointing out right at the get-go, because it does mean the first act of the first episode feels kind of rushed. It's trying to pack a lot in a short amount of time. So a lot of it involves, like Harley Quinn and Poison Ivy are finally together, and they're doing their, Eat, Kill, Bang tour or something like that. Whatever. So they're doing that, and there's a montage of all their escapades, and looks like they're having a grand old time. It's exactly the kind of fan service stuff you want after the end of the 2nd season. I know I greatly enjoyed watching it, but while this is happening, you can kind of feel the writers trying to figure out. I was like, okay, well, we kind of dealt with Psycho, the Dr. Psycho, this villain we've kind of building up for 2 seasons. What do we do now? So it does take a while to get there. The stuff with Samantha Waller comes in, the Suicide Squad comes in. I'm not giving away anything that's not in the trailer, by the way. And those sequences are a lot of fun. And you kind of get a sense of where it's going. It's like, okay, here's the plot. Here's where we're taking this. That being said, it is Harley Quinn. The writing's still sharp. Everyone's having a great time with these voice acting roles. I know in the panel, oh God, I'm blanking on his name, and I feel so bad because he's a really funny comedian. The guy who plays King Shark was at the panel. He's having a great time. He threw some really good shade over at HBO, which I'll probably post on my TikTok later because it was pretty funny. And I got there 2 hours early, so I got a good seat to the actual show. And so I think one thing I have learned from my previous coverage on premieres at cons is the fact that I do tend to fall into sunk cost fallacy, where if I spend a lot of time being there to watch something, I'm probably going to like it just because I spent a lot of time trying to go watch it. I don't think that's the case here. I do think I genuinely liked this, but I do think I liked episode 2 more because it does kind of feel like, okay, we've established what the plot is. We can slow down a bit. We can do what the show does best. We can get more into the character work. We don't have to do so much extravagance to set up the plot, although that's still there. We can just kind of here are the characters you love, and here's what they're doing. And here's how they're growing with some great introductions with Nightwing. Again, not going to be giving anything away. It's not in the trailer. And Damian's back, which is also, that isn't in the trailer, but I'll announce it here. I don't think it's that big of a spoiler. He pops up pretty early in the 2nd episode. And which is good to see, because he just kind of disappeared in Season 2, and that's never addressed. We never find out why the hell Damian just disappears, but again, not that big of a deal in the grand scheme of things. I would say, of the plots that are existing here, it does feel like they are struggling a bit more to figure out how Clayface and King Shark kind of play into things. And there's this kind of interesting subplot involving James Gunn. Again, I'm not going to give too much away. Although there are seeds of how it's going to play into the bigger picture, so we'll see where that goes. As of right now, it just kind of feels like a random B plot. It's still funny, and I'm still entertained watching it, but it is very interesting to see, okay, where are you taking this? And of course, that's the caveat you have with it, like, only being the first 2 episodes of the season, right? Is the fact that this is just establishing the set pieces. It is establishing what's there, or like what's going to come into play later. There's also a B plot with Bane that has a bit more to do with the rest of the story, although it is mostly just an excuse to have Bane come back, which I'm not going to argue with. Bane's like my favorite character in that show, so he's always fun to have around. Yeah, I think just overall this is gonna be brief because again, I don't want to give anything away until the episodes actually come out. I'm sure there are people that are already giving full spoilers already, but I'm not gonna be that guy. Other than the fact that it is more Harley Quinn, it's a little more inconsistent, I think, than the last couple seasons were, mostly because it really does feel like a season that was written in when they didn't think they were gonna get another season. But I think once you kind of get past those growing pains, which is mostly in the first episode, it does find its groove again. It does kind of balance itself back out again, become that Harley Quinn show you know and love. There's a lot of pieces. There's a lot of pieces going on here that I'm not sure where they're going. It is a lot to cram into 2 episodes, but I'm intrigued to see where it is going. They're clearly leaning more into the Bat Family aspect, which is something I've wanted to see in any media for a long time outside of comics. So I'm glad they're going that direction with it. That's pretty cool. And again, without going into spoilers, but some of the stuff they do there and the interplay they have is a lot of fun. And I really enjoyed how they fucked with Nightwing's character, especially when the third act twist with like why he's more serious. Again, I'm not giving anything away, but it is just. It's a lot of fun. It's Harley Quinn, the TV show. There's also not as much anti-Semitism this time around, which is kind of that weird sticking point with the show, where I love the show, but it was pointed out to me those elements exist, and I've rewatched it. I was like, okay, yeah, I don't think it's intentional, but it's there. And how you grapple with that's kind of up to you. I don't think it ruins the show necessarily, but I can make people uncomfortable, especially for a show that does feel like it's going out of its way to address some more progressive ideas through it. But that was impressive the first episode of here anyway. So we'll see where that goes. For the most part, I enjoyed it. It was worth staying up late for. Oh, I got a great hat with it too, which is awesome. Like, look at this thing. Yeah. This is my new favorite hat. Love it. They gave us a swag bag on the way out, and while we're here, we might as well just go through it, because why not? So, water bottle, that's not part of it. I threw that in there. So, it even has a little poster, I guess, to... it's really just a shameless ad to get me to subscribe to DC Universe, which is like for 1 year for only $50. Ooh. And then... it's a tattoo for the Cobb Squad. Okay. I dig it. I just got back to the hotel a little bit ago. I haven't time to look over this. A nice little pin with what do they call it? Har Ivy? What is this? And it looks like that's it. It's mostly the hat, but the hat's still cool. So yeah, overall, I think if you like the other season of Harley Quinn, you'll probably like this one just fine. I'm just gonna say that just bear with it for a little bit till it finds its grooves. Once it does, you're in for a good ride. And I think we're all going to be, as they kind of show where they're taking this. The writers have shown that they're very, very competent at what they do, and they haven't let us down yet. So I'm excited. That's all I have for this, I think. I don't know what, as far as Comic-Con stuff goes, I'm kind of choosing not to do the usual video stuff I've done in the past, mostly because, 1, they were never very popular, and 2, it just kind of feels distracting from my overall experience, and I need a break. So I'm mostly focusing on that. I'll probably put some stuff up on TikTok at some point. And if you guys really want to know, I can put up some story time stuff on here, or do an unboxing, because I do have a lot of crap. Swag that I've bought so far, and I assume I'm gonna get more before I leave. But other than that, yeah, thanks for watching. Check out Harley Quinn when it appears next week.